So guys, let's try to see and understand how to approach this kind of a caselet, and because you have to solve a number of caselets. Thanks for what? Okay, so you can see that in this particular caselet, on the left hand side, 200, 400, 600, 800,000, a very wide range is given to you. Like the gap is 200, 200, 200, 200. Okay, and there is no absolute data points given to you. If there is no absolute data points given to you guys, always understand that close answer choices can be very easily ruled out. I'll give you a very small example why. So guys, please understand. See here. Okay. For example, here somebody can read this particular point as 410. Somebody can read it as 400. Somebody can read it as 420. Okay. Similarly, for here in 2006, somebody can read this as 390 or 380 or 400. Depends upon your perception. Okay. Whenever this kind of caselet comes as a thumb rule, please understand that answer choices like this can be very easily ruled out. Answer choices like this can be very easily ruled out. Why it can be ruled out? It can be ruled out because the answer choices cannot be so close, because they have not given you an exact value, exact data points they have not shared with you. Okay, so having said that, let's start solving this particular question. So if you look at the very first question, the first question answer, correct answer is 2008, 2009. D is the right answer for that. How you will do it very quickly and very directly? What they are asking you? They are asking you, consider the annual percentage change in the gap between subscription revenues in the US and Europe. Basically, this gap is what you have to consider. This gap is what you have to consider. Okay. They are asking what is the year in which the absolute value of this change is the highest. Now guys, you might be going option by option. What I will suggest you directly is just have a careful look at the graph. The moment you have a careful look at the graph, you will see that the gap was this much over here and it has reduced to half immediately. And there is no other gap which has increased or decreased so drastically. You can see that. You can see that very easily. The gap was here, it has become half exactly over here, which is the year 2008 2009. It means the gap has reduced by half. It means 50% change would have come. So percentage change is 50%. Hence we can say this is the correct answer. Otherwise you will waste your time in going option by option and then looking at the gaps. Instead you can directly just go by the graph. You can yourself see, because see guys, it's a very dicey question, because they have not given you exact values. They have not given you the exact data points. How will you know if this particular value is 410 or 420? How will you know that? You can't know that, right? How will you know this particular point is 190 or 180? You can't know that, right? But this is very much evidently clear that here the gap was of 200 and here the gap has become now of only 50. And hence we can directly say 2008 2009 is our answer. The changes, percentage change is 50%. I hope it was clear to you. Let's move ahead. Look at the second question, what they are saying. Second question is, subscription in Europe has been growing steadily towards that of the US. The growth rate in Europe seems to be declining. Which of the following is the closest to the percentage change in growth rate of 2007 over 2006 relative to growth rate of 2005 over 2004? The second question type that I told you, percentage change over a percentage change. Okay, this is that kind of a question. So you can again very easily rule out the first two options because they are too close. When the first two options are so close, they can never be correct because no exact data points are given. This is ruled out. This is ruled out. Okay. Now what you can see, 2007 to 2006, if you see this data, I can take this as 500. This value is 500, approximately 500. Like it is a debatable point, but I can take it as 500. Approximations are always favored, and you can see how far away these three answer options are for you. Okay, you can see that very easily. So approximations are always favored. Okay. Now see again, 500 minus 380. 500 and minus this is 380 over here. like 2007 to 2006 we have to go. So this is your 500 and this I am taking as 380. Okay, sorry, this one is your 500 and this I am taking as 380 upon 380, because final value minus initial value upon initial value, this ratio I can see is coming out to 120 by 380. Approximately I'm taking it as 30%. Approximately I'm taking it as 30%. And then 2005 to 2004 you can see, like 2005 I have taken it here as 300, and 2004 I am taking it as 210. Why I am taking the 210? You can take it as 200 as well, does not matter, but you can take it as 210 as well. 90 by 200 is the ratio that you got, is very much close to 47%. Okay, so your correct answer will be, what will the correct answer? Many of you have marked this answer. It will be 35%. So they're asking which of the following is the closest to the percentage change in growth rate. Now, what is the percentage change in growth rate? It's very much close to, you can see over here, is 35%. 47 upon 30. Sorry, it's not 35%. You can see this change. It is more. It is. You can see this final value by initial value, and you can very easily say that it should be more than 50%, right? This will be more than 50%. Had it been 45 by 30, I would have said 50%. But since it is 47 by 30, my answer will here straight away become 60%. The correct answer for this question is option number D. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's look at the third question. Third question talks about, third question is the difference between the estimated subscription in Europe in 2008, the difference, and what it would have been if it were computed using the percentage growth rate of 2007 over 2006 is closest to. Okay, so now if you can see this question, you can very easily rule out these three answer choices, because again they are very close. If they are close, they are ruled out. If you are in shortage of time in such a caselet, you can straight ahead take a chance of luck, mark A and B, and move away. If suppose you are trying to play around with your luck, you're trying to take a guesswork, and if you are in shortage of time, you can take a guesswork like this, that these three options can be very easily ruled out. Okay, so we have already calculated in the last question 2007 to 2006 what is the growth rate. It was 30%. So we can use that data very easily. Okay, we can use that data very easily. So in 2007, this is 500. You can see this point, it is 500, and 500 and 30% growth, I'm multiplying this with 1.3, it will be 650. What is the actual right now? The actual, they have said it is 600 over here. What I am getting? I'm getting 650. What is the change? The difference is 50. So correct answer is A for Ahmedabad. I hope it is clear to you. Let's look at the next question, last one. Last question is, so I want to teach you something over here as well. But before we do that, let's read this last question. So the last question talks about something like, you can see over here, they're saying 60% subscribers in Europe were men. Women subscribers increase at the rate of 10% per annum, and men subscribers are increasing at the rate of 5% per annum. So they're asking what is the approximate percentage growth of subscribers. Now guys, you can very well understand, if I take men as, let's say, 60. Okay, why I'm taking men as 60? Because I can take men as 60%. That is what they have given to us in the question. Okay, and then women will be remaining 40%. So in the next year, what will be the growth in men? It will be 1.05 will be the multiplier. If suppose 5% per annum the men are growing, next year what will be the men? It will be 60 into 1.05, right? Next year again I will have to multiply 1.05. Next year again I'll have to multiply 1.05. So you can see ultimately what will happen. Ultimately I will be getting this kind of a number over here to the power 7. Now what I want you to learn over here is that you can do calculations like this in two fashions. You have to find out this value, and again I can tell you that you can take approximation. You can take approximation, but the approximation should be a little careful approximation, because here your answer choices are 50, 62, 78, 84, not that far away, right? So here you can't simply eliminate the answer choices, but you can be careful in the approximation that you take. How you will take this approximation? think about it here. So you can say 1.05 to the power 7 can be equal to 1.05 square into 1.05 square. You can use your calculator that is given on the screen to calculate this. Okay, you can use the calculator to calculate 1.05 square very fastly. And once you can calculate 1.05 square very fast, you can use that value, and you can use that value and multiply it like this. So this will take care of 1.05 to the power 4. One more 1.05 square you can use and multiply this value. And these values you can multiply and then multiply to 1.05. This is one of the ways of doing it, which I don't appreciate much. But to higher power calculations, you can do it in this fashion using your calculator that is given on the screen. The other way of doing approximation and direct calculation for these kind of numbers is what I wanted to learn over here. So how we do it is, please see. So 1.05 into 1.05. Okay. Can you say immediately that 1.05 into 1.05 is nothing but it is very much close to 10 square? Okay, which will be around 100. So it will be a little bit more than 100. So you can take that to be around 1.1. Okay, so 1.05 into 1.05, you can take it to be around 1.1. Okay, similarly, you can do the approximation over here, like 1.1 into 1.1. 1.1 into 1.1, you can simply say it is nothing but 11 square. 11 square, all of you know it is 121. So it will be 1.21, right? If suppose I have to do 1.1 into 1.1 into 1.1, this is nothing but 11 cube. You can very easily write it as 1.331. So the approximation that I want you to know is over here. Okay, like 1.05 into 1.05 can be treated as 10 into 10. 10 square is 100. A little bit more than that, hence I have taken it as 1.1. Okay, now please come back to the question. So after you have calculated this using the calculator or approximation, you will get 60 into 1.31, which is coming out to be 78.6. This is coming out to be 78.6. You can see very easily 13 into 60 is 78. I have just taken it at 1.30. A little bit of approximation is not harmful. Now women will be 40 into 1.1 because 10% increment is there for women. So 40 into 2.1 it will happen. And but again, how 2.1? Because you can again do the approximation. 1.1 whole cube into 1.1 whole cube you can do, okay, into 1.1, right? This 1.1 whole cube into 1.1 can be written as 1.3, that is 1.331. I have written as 1.3 into 1.3 again, this one, and this is 1.1. Now this 1.3 into 1.3 is nothing but 13 square. It can be written as 1.69 into 1.1. Now you can take an approximation over here. You can say that 1.69 is very much close to 1.7, sorry, 1.70. That is 1.7 only into 1.1. 17 into 11, you know it is 210. So your answer will be 2.1. Instead of using calculator, you should be using this kind of an approach. Hence, I emphasize always that you should remember the tables, you should remember the squares. Okay. I hope this is clear to you how to do this particular calculation. So having done that, you can now see that women numbers will become 40 into 2.1, that is 84. And if you add them up, it is coming out to be 162.6. How much was the number with which you started? You started with 60 and 40. You started with 100. You have reached to 162.6. So what should be the answer? It is very much close to 62%. So the answer is A for Ahmedabad. I hope this question was clear to you. So please let me know if you have any doubts, and meanwhile you can start solving the third caselet which I will be displaying on your screen.